everyone. I welcome you to another episode with me in Learn with Your Coach. Today, we're going to talk about values and the role it plays. So, our topic for today is about the role of values in our life. But before we get on to the role and we really understand what exactly value and the role they play in our life, even before that, if we take a step backward, we need to first understand what are values. They're not to really complicate it. I just want to make it as simple as I could. Therefore, here is the concept of value, which you see on your screen. It's nothing but it represents what's the most important thing to you in life. There can be many philosophies, theories on it, but I would say let's stick on to the most simpler definition, which is what is most important to you in life. That's exactly what value is. So if tomorrow somebody comes and asks you, or you come across something where you try to figure out what are my values or what are the values people operate out of, remember this concept that it is something which is representing the most important part or what's most important to an individual in their life. Well, moving on, there are a few other aspects about value that one need to remember. The first thing is that values they change over time, which means they are not casted in stone. Certain values which we may have had while we were growing as adults may not be really what we have as on today. Again, values are situational. So in different context, different circumstance, and different life experiences, our values tend to change with situation. Plus, values can be different in each category of our life. So when I refer here category, it's about uh, the various different spheres of life that we all live, which can be, for example, let's say one category of our life is health. The other could be our work, our profession. The other could be our relationship with our parents, siblings, and then one more could be with our significant other or the partner we have or our spouse. Then we can have another one with our children. So values in each categories are also different. Plus, the most key point that one need to always remember about values that there is nothing called a wrong or a right value. Values are, as I mentioned, the most important thing that holds for you in life. Now, here as an example, what you see on your screen as a sample of some 89 listed values. This is just for your reference. You can add more to it because these are not the final list, and you can bring up anything that from your own life experiences that you've gathered, you could include it in here, or you could just refer it and take it from here. So it's just to make your just give you an insight, an example, plus also make it easier for you to relate to what exactly when we say referring it to values, what exactly they are. Another few key points about values is that, as I said, they are unique. They are different to different people because each one of us, as we go about in life, we all have our own unique circumstances, context, and experiences. So our values also will differ. So what you just saw is not the final list. You can feel free to amend or add to it. Now, while we are attempting to understand the role of value in our life, I have also included in this given presentation a small exercise where it can throw some light and also help you find your values. So again, you have this list of value in front of you. So you could use this as a reference, and in the meanwhile, just grab a pen and a paper, and then we go about doing this very simple exercise. So the objective and the intent behind this activity here is not just to give you a bit of an understanding of how values work and the role they play in our life, but also to increase your awareness about your own self and also about others. Because the more aware you are about the various values you're currently operating out of, the more better it becomes for you to live a much more meaningful and fulfilling life. So, in order to understand this much more in detail, let's get on to do this exercise, which will help you understand what are the current values you are currently operating out of, how we are governed by it, how they are playing a predominant role in our life, and how do we also understand others and what values they carry. So, what you need to do is, I have just put in five categories of life. You can add more if you want. This is again quite flexible. So against this each category, just write down from the list that you just saw, pull from there or from your own, what are the top 3 or 5 values you feel you have in each category. So as an example, I'll tell you, if you ask me as a person, if I give you my example, for me, I'll give you one value each for each of the category listed here. So I have picked that up from the list, which just gone by. The first one for self, for me, the value that I operate for self is authenticity. That's very important for me. I believe in complete authenticity, whether it's me or maybe even to do with others. So this is something that I look forward to. So myself, the top value would be authenticity. If it is about family, then harmony is the value that I operate, wherein I always look forward to a peaceful, healthy relationships with less amount of conflicts. When it is about health, the top value that I might choose will be balance, meaning we maintain a balance in diet, balance in the way we live the lifestyle, balance in the food, the diet, or balance even in exercises or any other method, which together holistically produce well-being. So balance is key for me. I think that's the value I operate when it comes to health. Now for work and career, for me, the biggest value that I might quote here will be passion, because I'm someone who is very driven by what I really like to do most. And for me, a work and career would revolve around that. So if in case I am thrown into a work which does not resonate with my passion, I might not do it well or may not do it completely. So for me, the biggest, most important thing in work career is passion. Happiness, again, I would say contentment is the biggest value. For me, being happy is not just superficial happiness or some laughs, it's about this deep down contentment one holds. So these one-liners, as I give it to you, these are just example which I've taken it from my life. You could do the same, list down these categories against each from the list that just went by, pick up your values. So once you write each one of them, then next to it, sit, pause, and reflect. I'll tell you what exactly it will give you towards the end while you write those 3 and 5 values for each of the category. The first thing, the application of these values will help you understand that most of the conflicts that we encounter in life, whether it's in our personal relationships or whether it's in our workplace, you will find the biggest one reason is when there is a conflict of values. You may have heard of many examples where people have left not their jobs but their bad bosses, because the values the bosses are operating out of or the organization culture is not synchronizing with your own value. And you would find such examples in so many numbers that is the number one reason why values are so important, knowing them, knowing of others, because this really help you and guide you live a more meaningful life very closer to what's more important to you as a person. Similarly, in relationships, again, the number one reason for divorce and for separations or conflict is the conflict of values. You may have had experienced both in your personal life and in professional life where when there are conflicts in values, like let's say the girl gets married, she goes to a house where they're completely liberal or different kind. It's not wrong or right, it's a little different values they are operating out of, and the girl finds it very difficult to adjust. Again, when there's a conflict between husband and wife who are like had to stay forever in a marriage, they again, when they find that their values have changed over a period of time, they make the the words out of marriage, because that's a constant thing that people continue to put up with each other's partners because their values are not resonating with that of their partners. So that's another reason why people, when you look for a compatible partner, you ensure that they have more or less similar values, because it goes a very long way in leading to harmonious and positive relations. Another most important application of value is about self-awareness. As I mentioned earlier, the more we know the values we operate out of in each category of our life, they may not be really three or five, they can be more, they can be less. The more easier it is to understand the world outside, because it all begins with our own self. Knowing values help us understand what exactly are we operating out of. What is the most important thing we consider, and we always ensure that we live our life unconsciously. Also, we tend to choose things which synchronize with our values. We may never knew the word for it, which is value, we may not even know, but once you do this exercise and then you keep on doing it at different phases of your life, you would understand that values play a very key role in helping you understand your own self better, and even from others. You can even try this with people who you don't really gel with, and you will realize that the biggest reason for the conflicts is not anything but the conflict in values. The way the person operates out of and what you operate out of may not synchronize. So, all in all, the bottom line is that our goals in life, whatever we seek, they stem from values. And the most important thing here is that we make decisions, especially big or small or the major ones. Values are the foundations. What is most important to us is what really is driving us, and it is what is the root from where we arrive at decisions. We decide, we let go things, or we accept things, or we put up with things, or we object to things, or we completely go opposite. Whatever. Everything has the underneath invisible thing that's working, which is value. So remember, friends, it's a key thing in our life, and the road to living a more meaningful, fulfilled life lies in being aware of it. So the more you're aware of it, the easier it becomes for you to live a more meaningful and fulfilled life. I hope this exercise will help you. It's a very basic one. There are much more at a very deeper level, but this is just a basic one, just to give you an idea on how this value thing works. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here, taking this small activity, being here, listening to it. Here are my coordinates, as you know, which are on your screen right now. If in case you want to write more about values, want to learn more about it, want to explore it more in detail, or you want to talk to me, you want to share, you want to further raise your self-awareness, these are the details where you can get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you so much.